A giant monster rises from the ground. It roars relentlessly as it chases after humans. A desperate woman collapses on the ground. She only has a backpack to defend herself. Will the woman be able to overcome the predicament? Find out in the 4th episode of the Monster Legacy series, The Emperor's Plan. After losing an important comrade, the main characters face a powerful monster with freezing abilities. What is its true purpose? In this desperate situation, what choices will the main characters make? Let's wait and see. Continuing from the previous story, a worker at the outpost notices unusual readings on the monitor. She immediately contacts headquarters. Meanwhile, the ferocious monster bites down on the plane. A piece of wreckage flies out, attracting the monster's attention. It notices the humans, and starts moving towards Tammy. Strangely, Tammy shows no fear. In the next moment, Tammy unexpectedly picks up a signal gun. He fires a shot into the distance. The giant monster becomes confused. Seeing that his action has no effect, the man can only run for his life. They find an ice cave. They break the ice pillars at the entrance and hide inside. In this tense moment, David doesn't forget to tease Tammy. "Nice shot, kid," he says. Soon, the monster finds its way to them. The 4 of them tremble inside the ice cave. They dare not make a sound. The monster is close at hand. Its footsteps crack the thin layer of ice beneath Mary's feet. Mary is too focused on observing above and completely ignores the danger beneath her feet. Suddenly, Mary gets stuck in the icy water. With the help of the others, she is rescued. In those few seconds, Mary's leg becomes frostbitten. She is in immense pain but cannot make a sound, as it would attract the monster's attention. They didn't know how long it had been, but the monster finally left. David goes to investigate and confirms the monster's disappearance. Mary immediately cries out in pain, but David covers her mouth. Facing such a colossal monster, confronting it head-on is unrealistic. They can only choose to retreat. Mary's leg is throbbing in pain. After David and Lisa leave, Tammy helps Mary up. Mary, feeling desperate, blames Tammy. "Did you bring me here just to get hurt?" she says angrily. She walks away in anger. It turns out that the 2 of them met in Tokyo a year ago. At that time, Tammy was a somewhat famous artist. His biggest wish was to prove himself successful to his father, Professor Burney, who always mysteriously disappeared. This made Tammy feel down and discouraged. In addition, things in art galleries are very complicated. His mother was proud of his achievements, but Tammy didn't feel the same way. He went outside to catch his breath. That's when he coincidentally met Mary while taking photos. Mary thought he was taking pictures of her without permission. That's when they started talking. Mary commented on the pretentious name of one of his gallery pieces, but Tammy praised it. Mary asked him to delete the photo. He asked her why she didn't like being photographed. "Your photos look great," he said. This ambiguous statement caught Mary's attention. They continued talking and made plans to meet at a bar for a drink. He met Mary and fell in love at first sight. The scene shifts, and they are walking in the snowy landscape. An irritated Mary asks David why he has studied so many monsters and yet seems useless at this critical moment. Only then does David tell them that, according to the Emperor's organization's information, monsters are collectively referred to as giants. Their forms are like snowflakes, each with different characteristics. They have no idea how many monsters are lurking. This is not the right time for a lecture. Lisa informs everyone. They can't just wander aimlessly. Once they encounter darkness and the temperature drops, combined with the fact that they have no food, if they don't find a place to take shelter, they might not make it through the night. David suggests heading northwest, as there might be people there. Tammy expresses his thoughts. Before the plane crash, he saw a giant golf ball. There might be a human supply station there. David asks if anyone else saw it. They all said no. Tammy is surprised that his girlfriend doesn't support him. "Can't you trust me like you used to?" That was when they had just met. Tammy takes Mary to a secret bar. He designed the lighting here. Mary is pleasantly surprised. She admires Tammy's talent. They talk about their respective careers. Tonight is actually Tammy's first exhibition. He purposely arrived late to build anticipation among the audience. Mary asks if bringing her here is also part of the show. Tammy turns around and earnestly says it's not. In the evening, the relationship between the 2 people who had a good chat got closer. Mary sees Tammy's artwork at his place, and she thinks he's a talented artist. The beginning of any relationship is always sweet. The scene shifts to the present. The 4 of them are climbing a towering snow mountain. When they reach a higher point and look around, they don't see the supply station Tammy mentioned. Due to their differing opinions, Tammy insists that he didn't hallucinate. At this moment, Lisa sees a glowing spot in the distance. They want to head in that direction, but Tammy pours cold water on their enthusiasm. He thinks they might encounter obstacles along the way. The supply station he saw is relatively close, and he insists on checking it out. In the end, they split up to search for support. Tammy goes alone to find the supply station, while David and the other three head northwest. In Alaska, the monitor reports to the superiors that a gamma ray suddenly appeared. The superiors prepare to send an analysis team. The scene shifts to David's team, where Mary's legs are frostbitten. Lisa has to carry her forward. Mary is very weak, and Lisa encourages her with words. They walk through the night and end up back at the tent. They are shocked by this. David says that as long as the monster is there, it will definitely affect us. The extraordinary nature of this area is unimaginable. Lisa glances at Mary, who is lying on the ground. She is very concerned. Mary's condition is extremely poor right now, and if she doesn't warm up, it could be life-threatening. With Lisa's insistence, David can only light a fire next to the tent. Mary's condition starts to improve. She also instructs Lisa that if anything happens to her, she asks Lisa to contact her family. During their conversation, David hands them food. Before long, an unforeseen event occurs. The ground suddenly shakes violently, and the creature beneath the ice approaches at an incredibly fast speed. David quickly tells them to run. They've only gone a few meters when the ground becomes calm again. David orders them to stop and not let the monster know their location. The next moment, the monster suddenly appears. Strangely, the monster targets the fire next to them. Then it disappears. The humans are unharmed. Sharp-minded David realizes that the monster isn't chasing them, it's merely running towards the fire. The monster attacking the plane was attracted by the engine, and the reason it attacked humans is likely due to the signal flare. David comes up with a brilliant idea. To use the nearby aviation fuel against the monster, they need to quickly reach the coastal area. Mary, who has just regained consciousness, looks at the nearby bodies of her companions, and hesitates. She told Lisa that I would never be able to withstand it. At necessary moments, you can abandon me. Meanwhile, Tammy, who is searching for the supply station, is lost in the darkness of the night. He can't see any signs of life around him. Even his water bottle has frozen. He feels a wave of despair. Tammy walks slower and slower in the wind and snow. He wants to give up on the snowy ground. He can't hold on and collapses on the ground. Not knowing how much time has passed, he turns his head and sees his girlfriend. Tammy recalls the good times they had before. Mary encourages herself not to feel ashamed of her work. The light that night is just like tonight. A voice comes from the darkness. Tammy realizes that it's his father's voice. Immediately after, Professor Bernie staggers as he walks, but he doesn't seem to see Tammy. When Tammy wakes up, he realizes it was an illusion, but strangely, he finds some pencil shavings on the ice. This also makes him think of his father. Perhaps his father had been to this place. In a daze, a force pulls him forward. He arrives at his own art gallery. He also sees his father. He cries to his father about the hardships of organizing an exhibition. Bernie says, "You made me proud." In an instant, the gallery returns to reality. Tammy finds the golf ball-shaped supply station. Although there is no one inside the supply station, there is a satellite phone that can be used here. David said goodbye to his good friend Rachel. He poured aviation fuel around Rachel. He was also sending Rachel off on her final journey. Just then, the sound of airplane engines could be heard in the distance. Suddenly, a monster emerged from the ground. It launched an attack on Lisa and them. Lisa supported Mary as they ran towards the airplane. Mary, with her injured leg, couldn't keep up and fell to the ground. The monster chased closely behind. In a dire situation, Mary raised her backpack in front of her. Her backpack instantly turned into a block of ice. On the side, David, being a true man, shouted for a long time but couldn't attract the monster. Then he quickly took out a lighter and ignited it. The sudden explosion indeed caught the monster's attention. At that moment, the airplane also noticed Mary and Lisa. David was somewhat dizzy from the earlier explosion. He staggered and stood up. He saw the monster next to him extinguish the fire. Then he ran towards the direction of the airplane. After the plane landed, they discovered it was the support Tammy had found. Finally, they managed to safely board the plane. On the plane, Tammy recounted her journey to find the supply station. Unfortunately, Mary's laptop was frozen and damaged. All the information about the monsters recorded in the computer was destroyed. However, David was captivated by the scene outside the plane. Several beams of magical light emanated from a cave. Even the experienced David was somewhat astonished. The time shifted to Utah in the year 2015. Monitors detected highly unusual gamma rays. The last time such gamma rays occurred was when Godzilla attacked San Francisco. This caught the attention of the Monarch organization. It was highly likely a precursor to a new round of Godzilla attacks. Now, what actions should humans take? What plans will the Monarch organization devise? What strange monsters will the main characters encounter? Where did these monsters come from? Will Godzilla make a comeback? Let's look forward to the next episode. Alright, that's it for today's video. See you in the next episode.